3 months into marriage, I learned that being Dante Moretti's wife meant more than love and protection. It meant power. I stood in Dante's office, our office now, reviewing contracts for a shipping deal with a Japanese consortium. My Japanese was rusty, but good enough to catch the clause buried on page 47 that would have given them leverage over our port operations. "Here," I said, circling it with red ink. "This wording is deliberately vague. They're trying to sneak in access rights that extend beyond the agreement." Dante looked up from his laptop, those ice-blue eyes warming with approval. "What would you change?" I rewrote the clause in both English and Japanese, tightening the language until it was bulletproof. When I finished, Dante pulled me onto his lap, kissing my neck. "Brilliant," he murmured against my skin. "You just saved us from losing millions in 5 years when they'd have exploited that loophole. That's what you pay me for. I don't pay you anymore. You're my wife. What's mine is yours." His arms tightened around my waist, including a 50% stake in Moretti Enterprises as of this morning. "My lawyers finalized the paperwork." I twisted to look at him. "Dante, you can't just—" "I can, and I did. You're not just my translator anymore, Elena. You're my partner, my equal. That means equal ownership, equal decision-making power, equal everything." He turned me to face him fully. "I trust you with my empire the same way I trust you with my heart." Something warm bloomed in my chest. "Your organization is going to hate this. My organization respects strength. And you, my love, are the strongest person I know." He kissed me softly. "Besides, most of them are terrified of you after you verbally eviscerated that Russian arms dealer who tried to shortchange us." I smiled at the memory. He shouldn't have assumed I didn't understand Russian. He learned. They all learn eventually. Dante's phone buzzed, and his expression shifted from warm to calculating. "Marco's here. We have a situation." Marco entered looking grim. "Sir, ma'am, we have confirmation. The Bratva is moving into Boston. Viktor Volkov himself arrived last night with 30 soldiers. My Russian was better than my Japanese. Bratva meant brotherhood, the Russian Mafia. And Viktor Volkov was legendary, ruthless, brilliant, and completely without mercy. What does he want?" I asked before Dante could. Marco's eyes flicked to me with respect. He'd stopped being surprised when I inserted myself into strategy discussions. "Territory, specifically the waterfront operations. He's offering to buy in as a partner, but we all know that's how it starts. First partnership, then gradual takeover, then he eliminates us entirely," Dante said flatly. "Classic Bratva strategy. What's our intel on his forces? 30 confirmed soldiers, but he has connections to at least 200 more in New York and Philadelphia. He's not moving without backup." Marco pulled up photos on his tablet. "He's also smart. He's been meeting with city officials, making legitimate investments, building political capital." I studied Victor's photo. Mid-40s, silver-streaked hair, cold eyes that reminded me of winter in Moscow. "He's playing the long game." "Yes," Marco agreed, which makes him more dangerous than Vittorio was. Vittorio was impulsive. "Victor plans everything." Dante stood pacing to the windows, set up a meeting. "I want to hear his offer directly." "Sir, that's necessary. We need to understand his position before we can counter it." He glanced at me. "Elena, you're coming." "Of course I am." Marco looked uncomfortable. "Ma'am, the Bratva has certain views about women in business. Victor might not respect, then he'll learn to," I said calmly. "Just like everyone else," Dante smiled, sharp and proud. "That's my girl." The meeting was set for neutral ground. A private dining room at the Four Seasons. Public enough to be safe, private enough for honest conversation. I dressed carefully. Armani suit, minimal jewelry, hair pulled back in a sleek bun, not trying to be beautiful, but to be taken seriously. The distinction mattered. Dante wore his usual armor, perfectly tailored suit, Italian leather shoes, and an expression that could cut glass. His hand rested on the small of my back as we entered the restaurant. Possessive, protective, and very deliberate. Viktor Volkov was already there. He stood when we entered, and I revised my assessment based on the photo. He wasn't just dangerous, he was magnetic. The kind of man who commanded rooms without raising his voice, whose silence was more threatening than most people's violence. "Dante Moretti," Victor said in accented English, extending his hand. "I've heard much about you." Victor Volkov. They shook, and I watched two predators assess each other. "This is my wife, Elena." Victor's eyes shifted to me, and I saw surprise flicker before he buried it. "Mrs. Moretti, a pleasure." "Mr. Volkov," I replied in flawless Russian. "Welcome to Boston. I hope your accommodations have been satisfactory." His eyebrows rose. "You speak Russian, among other languages. I find it useful in business." I sat without waiting for him to offer, a deliberate power move. Something like amusement crossed Victor's face. "I see. The rumors are true then. You married not just a beautiful woman, but a brilliant one." "The two aren't mutually exclusive," Dante said, taking his seat beside me. His hand found mine under the table, squeezing once. "Shall we discuss why you've come to Boston?" "Direct, I appreciate that." Victor poured vodka. He'd brought his own bottle. "I come with a proposal, partnership. The Bratva has resources, connections, and expertise that could benefit your operations. In exchange, we want access to your port infrastructure and a percentage of your shipping revenues." "What percentage?" I asked. 40%, Dante laughed, sharp and humorless. "You want 40% of my most profitable operation in exchange for vague promises of resources?" "That's insulting, is it?" Victor leaned back. "Consider what we offer. Political connections in Eastern Europe, protection from rival organizations, access to markets you cannot currently reach." "That's worth 40%. "It's worth 10% maybe," I said. "And only if we see demonstrated value first. You're asking us to give you the keys to our kingdom before you've proven you deserve them." Victor's attention shifted fully to me. "You negotiate for your husband?" "I negotiate with my husband. We're partners." I held his gaze. "If that's a problem for you, Mr. Volkov, then we're wasting everyone's time." For a long moment he studied me. Then he smiled, genuine, surprised. "No problem. I respect strength, Mrs. Moretti, regardless of where it comes from." He turned back to Dante. "Your wife drives a hard bargain. 10% is too low. Shall we say 25? 15, Dante countered. "And you provide detailed documentation of your Eastern European connections." "We verify them before signing anything." 20. 15, plus priority access to one shipping route of your choice for the first year. After that, we renegotiate based on demonstrated value. Victor considered. 17%, priority access to 2 routes, and we have a deal. I squeezed Dante's hand, a signal we'd developed. "Wait. Before we agree," I said, "we need to discuss exclusivity. Are you making similar offers to other Boston families?" Victor's expression remained neutral, but I caught the micro-expression, a slight tightening around his eyes. He had been. "The Bratva explores all opportunities," he said carefully. "That's not an answer." I leaned forward. "If we partner with you, we need to know you're not simultaneously partnering with our competitors. Otherwise, you're not offering alliance. You're playing both sides." Silence stretched. Then Victor laughed, loud and genuine. "You are sharp." "Yes, I approached the Chen family. They declined. And yes, I am speaking with a New York organization about similar arrangements. But," he raised a hand as Dante's expression darkened, "if you and I reach agreement today, I will make Boston my exclusive East Coast partnership. The other negotiations will end. Get it in writing," I said. "Exclusivity clause, non-compete for all Boston territory, and penalties if you violate it. You don't trust easily." "Mrs. Moretti, I don't trust at all." "Mr. Volkov, that's why I'm still alive." He smiled. "We will get along well, I think." "Very well." He extended his hand to Dante. "Do we have a deal? 17%, 2 priority routes, exclusive partnership, all documented and legally binding?" Dante looked at me. I nodded fractionally. "We have a deal," Dante said, shaking Victor's hand. "My lawyers will draw up contracts. We'll need access to your documentation within 48 hours. "Of course." Victor stood, and we stood with him. "One more thing, Dante. A warning between partners. There are people who don't want the Bratva succeeding in Boston. People who will see our partnership as a threat. Watch your back." I always do. Victor nodded, then surprised me by taking my hand and kissing it. Old-world courtesy. Mrs. Moretti, you are formidable. Your husband is lucky to have you. My husband is lucky I chose him, I corrected. He laughed again. Yes, exactly that. After he left, Dante pulled me into his arms. That was masterful. The way you caught his lie about exclusive negotiations, the way you demanded documentation, you just saved us from walking into a trap. He was playing us, trying to start a bidding war between us and other families. I leaned against him. But I think he's being honest about the threats. Someone powerful doesn't want the Bratva establishing themselves here. Then we need to find out who. Dante kissed my forehead. Come on, we have work to do. As we left the restaurant, I caught sight of someone watching from across the street. A woman, mid-30s, blonde, watching us with undisguised hatred. Dante, I murmured. 3 o'clock? Do you know her? He looked, and his expression went carefully blank. No, should I? He was lying. I knew my husband's tells. The slight tightening of his jaw, the way his hand tensed on my back. You're a terrible liar, I said once we were in the car. He sighed. Her name is Sofia Calabresi, Vittorio's daughter. She disappeared after her father died. I didn't know she was in Boston. My blood ran cold. She's here for revenge. Probably. Dante, I'll handle it. His voice was steel. She's not going to touch you, Elena. I promise. But as Marco drove us back to the estate, I couldn't shake the image of those hate-filled eyes. Some debts, I was learning, never get paid in full. They just come due in different forms. Sofia Calabresi made her move 3 days later. I was at a charity gala, one of the many social obligations that came with being Mrs. Moretti. Dante was across the room, negotiating with a city councilman, and I'd excused myself to the restroom. That's when she appeared. Elena Costa, Sofia said, blocking my path to the sinks. She was beautiful in a cold, sharp way, like a knife wrapped in silk. Or should I say Elena Moretti? You took my father from me. Your father tried to kill me, I said calmly, though my heart was racing. Dante protected me. That's not the same thing. Dante Moretti destroyed my family. Her voice shook with controlled fury. My father is dead. My brothers are in hiding. Our empire is ash. And you married the man who did this. You sleep beside him. You help him. Your father attacked first. He kidnapped me, threatened to kill me piece by piece. What was Dante supposed to do? Let him? He was supposed to negotiate, to find a peaceful solution. Instead, he murdered him in cold blood while you watched. Her hands clenched into fists. Do you know what that makes you? Complicit. You're as guilty as he is. I'm not. You are. She stepped closer, and I saw genuine anguish beneath the fury. My father was a violent man. I know that. But he was my father, and Dante took him from me without mercy, without hesitation, and you stood there and let it happen. Guilt twisted in my chest. She wasn't wrong. I had watched. I had felt satisfaction when Vittorio died. I'd chosen Dante's world, accepted its violence, and never looked back. I'm sorry, I said quietly. I'm sorry you lost your father. I'm sorry our war destroyed your family, but I'm not sorry I survived, and I'm not sorry I chose the man who saved me. Then you understand why I'm going to destroy him. Her smile was cold. Not quickly. Not mercifully. I'm going to take everything from him the way he took everything from me, starting with you. She moved fast, pulling a syringe from her clutch, lunging toward me. Training kicked in. Dante had insisted I learn self-defense after the Vittorio incident, and muscle memory took over. I blocked her arm, twisted, and slammed her against the bathroom stall. The syringe clattered to the floor. Help! I shouted. Security! Sofia struggled, but I held her pinned until the bathroom door burst open and 3 security guards rushed in. Dante's men, always watching from the shadows. Mrs. Moretti. Marco appeared behind them, taking in the scene instantly. Are you hurt? No, but she tried to inject me with something. I pointed to the syringe. Get that tested. Now. One guard secured Sofia while another carefully collected the syringe. Dante appeared seconds later, his face a mask of barely controlled rage. "Elena, I'm fine." I released Sophia, stepping back. She wanted to talk. Things escalated. Dante's eyes went to Sophia, and I saw murder there. "Take her to the estate. I want her secured in the basement. No one speaks to her until I get there." "Dante, no." I grabbed his arm. "She tried to kill you. She tried to drug me. We don't know what was in that syringe." I held his gaze. "Don't do something you'll regret. Not here, not now. Let's figure out what she was planning first." For a long moment, I thought he'd ignore me. Then he nodded. His jaw clenched so tight I heard teeth grinding. "Fine, but she's staying secured until we know everything." He turned to his men. "Get her out of here. Quietly. Don't make a scene." They dragged Sophia away, and she laughed, bitter and broken. "You can't protect her forever, Moretti. Eventually, I'll get what I came for." After she was gone, Dante pulled me into his arms, trembling. "When I saw Marco running for the bathroom, when I realized you were in danger." "I know." I held him tight. "I know. But I'm okay, see? Not a scratch. This time." He pulled back, cupping my face. "But she's right, Elena. I can't protect you every second. And there will always be someone coming for revenge. Always another threat. Always another—" "Stop." I kissed him. "We knew this. We chose this. And I'm not some fragile thing that breaks under pressure. I handled her, didn't I?" "You did." Pride warred with fear in his eyes. "You were magnificent, but that doesn't mean I'm not terrified of losing you." "You won't. Because I'm careful, and I'm smart, and I have an incredibly paranoid husband who puts security on me even at charity galas." I managed to smile. "Come on, let's go find out what Sophia Calabresi was planning. Then we'll decide what to do with her." The syringe contained a powerful sedative, enough to knock me unconscious but not kill me. "She was planning to kidnap you," Marco explained as we stood in Dante's office reviewing the test results. "Drug you, smuggle you out during the confusion of the gala, and then— we can only speculate. Torture me," I said flatly. "Make Dante watch, probably. Or use me as leverage to destroy his empire before killing us both." Dante's expression was arctic. "She's downstairs. I'm going to get answers." "We're going to get answers," I corrected. "I'm coming with you. Elena, she tried to drug and kidnap me. I deserve to be there when you question her." I grabbed my jacket. "Besides, she might respond better to another woman. Someone who actually understands loss." "You're too soft-hearted for this world," Dante muttered. But he didn't stop me from following him downstairs. The basement was exactly what you'd imagine. Soundproofed, sparse, with restraints built into the walls. Sophia sat in a chair, bound but unharmed, her eyes defiant. "Come to gloat?" she asked when she saw us. "Come to understand," I replied, pulling up a chair across from her while Dante loomed behind me. "Why now? It's been months since your father died. Why wait?" "Because grief takes time," she said bitterly. "Because I spent months hiding, grieving, planning. Because I wanted to do this right, not in rage, but with precision. The way he taught me." Her eyes locked on Dante. "You killed him without hesitation, without mercy. I wanted to return the favor." "Your father killed 3 of my men," Dante said coldly. "Kidnapped my fiancée, threatened to torture her to death. What did you expect me to do? Negotiate. Show mercy, be better than him." She was crying now, tears streaming down her face. "He was a monster, I know that. But he was my father, and you took him from me without giving him a chance to surrender. He had his chance to surrender when I offered negotiations. He refused and shot at me." Dante's voice was ice. "I don't regret killing him, Sophia. I regret that his daughter is sitting here broken by his choices. But I won't apologize for protecting what's mine. Then neither will I." She looked at me. "I'm sorry you're caught in this, but you chose him. You chose this life. So when I come for you again, and I will, you won't be innocent collateral. You'll be a target. Then I'll defend myself. Again." I leaned forward. "But Sophia, listen to me. This path ends in death. Yours, probably. Maybe mine. Definitely more people who don't deserve it. Is that really what your father would want?" "My father would want revenge." "Your father would want you alive," Dante said quietly. "He may have been a monster, but he loved you. I saw it in his eyes before he died. The grief wasn't for himself." It was for you, for what his choices would cost you. Sophia sobbed, broken, raw, devastated. I have nothing left. No family, no home, no purpose except this. That's not true. I reached out, carefully taking her bound hands. You have choices, Sophia. You could walk away, start over somewhere new, use your father's money. I know he had accounts hidden everywhere. Build something better than revenge. Why would you offer me that? I tried to kidnap you, because you're 27 years old and drowning in grief. Because your father's sins aren't yours to carry. Because... I glanced back at Dante. Because my husband taught me that mercy isn't weakness. It's strength. Dante's expression softened fractionally. I'm giving you one chance, Sophia. One. You walk away. Tonight. Leave Boston, leave the East Coast, and never come back. In exchange, I'll transfer $5 million into an account of your choosing and ensure no one from my organization or our allies ever touches you. She stared at him, disbelieving. Why? Because Elena's right. Your father's sins aren't yours. And because if I kill you, the cycle continues. Your cousins come for revenge, their children, endless bloodshed that solves nothing. He moved to stand beside me. I'm offering you what I never got, a way out. Take it. Sophia looked between us, tears still streaming. If I agree, if I leave, do I have your word you won't come after me? You have my word. But if you ever threaten Elena again, if you ever return to Boston seeking revenge, I will end you. Permanently. No mercy. No second chances. Understood? She nodded slowly. Understood. Good. Dante nodded to Marco, who began cutting her restraints. You have 24 hours to leave the city. After that, my offer expires. Sophia stood, rubbing her wrists, and looked at me. You really love him. Despite everything he is. I really do. Then you're either the bravest woman I've ever met, or the most foolish. She managed a broken smile. Probably both. Definitely both, I agreed. She left with Marco escorting her out, and I sagged against Dante. That was risky, he said quietly. She could still come after us. She won't. You gave her what she needed. Acknowledgement of her pain and a path forward. That's more valuable than revenge. I looked up at him. Was I wrong to push for mercy? No, he kissed my forehead. You were right. Like you always are. Like you are about everything important. He pulled me closer. You're making me softer, Elena. More human. I'm not sure if that's good or dangerous. Both, I said, echoing Sophia's words. But isn't that what love is? Making each other better while accepting that better is sometimes more vulnerable. When did you become a philosopher? When I married a mafia boss who reads Russian literature and quotes Dante Alighieri. I kissed him. Come on. We have a partnership with the Bratva to finalize. And I want to review those contracts one more time. Always working. Always your partner. We went upstairs together. And I thought about Sofia Calabresi, another casualty of this world's violence, offered a way out by the same man who'd created her grief. Maybe Dante was right. Maybe I was making him softer. But maybe soft wasn't weakness. Maybe it was evolution. The partnership with Viktor Volkov proved lucrative. Within 6 weeks, our shipping revenues increased by 30%. Viktor's Eastern European connections opened markets we'd never accessed. And his political contacts smoothed operations that had been mired in bureaucratic red tape. But nothing comes without cost. I was in our office reviewing quarterly projections when Viktor arrived unannounced, his expression grim. We have a problem, he said without preamble. Someone is sabotaging our shared operations. 3 shipments intercepted by customs in the past 2 weeks, all flagged for random inspection. That's not random, Dante. That's targeted. Dante closed his laptop. Who? That's what I need your help determining. My people have been investigating, but whoever this is, they're well connected. Police, customs officials, possibly federal agents. Viktor's jaw clenched. They're trying to destroy our partnership before it fully establishes. Any suspects? I asked, already pulling up our shipping manifests. Several. The Yakuza are unhappy we didn't include them in the partnership. The Irish families resent the Bratva's presence. And, he hesitated, there are rumors of a new player. Someone coordinating multiple organizations against us. A coalition, Dante said. Multiple families working together. That's unprecedented in Boston, which makes it incredibly dangerous. Victor sat, accepting the whiskey Dante poured. If they're unified, they could outnumber us 3-1. Maybe more. I studied the shipping records, looking for patterns. All 3 intercepted shipments originated from the same port, Baltimore. And they all had the same customs inspector flagging them, Agent Rebecca Chen. Both men looked at me. How did you find that so quickly? Victor asked. Because I cross-referenced the seizure reports with our personnel files. Agent Chen doesn't usually work our routes. She was specifically assigned to these shipments. I pulled up her profile. And according to her financial records, which I have access to through legitimate legal channels, she received a $50,000 deposit 2 days before the first seizure. Someone bought her, Dante said. Someone bought her and is using her to systematically destroy our operation. I kept digging. The deposit came from a shell corporation registered in Delaware. But if I trace the ownership structure, I worked through layers of corporate documents. There. The shell company is owned by a holding company, which is owned by another holding company, which is ultimately controlled by Chen Industries. Victor went still. Marcus Chen, head of the Chinese syndicate operating in Boston. He's building a coalition, Dante said, understanding immediately. He's uniting everyone we've marginalized or threatened, Yakuza, Irish, smaller Italian families, and he's using federal agents as weapons. Smart, I admitted. He can attack us legally while his allies move against us in the shadows. We can't fight back without exposing ourselves to prosecution. Unless we cut off the head, Victor said. Marcus Chen is the linchpin. Remove him, and the coalition falls apart. Killing him brings federal attention we can't afford, Dante countered. We need to be smarter. I thought about the problem from every angle. Linguistic, strategic, psychological. Marcus Chen was brilliant, connected, and motivated by the same thing as everyone else in this world. Power and profit. We don't kill him, I said slowly. We make him an offer he can't refuse. But first, we need leverage. Both men looked at me with interest. Marcus Chen has a daughter, I continued, pulling up more information. Lily Chen, 23, studying international law at Harvard. She's brilliant, ambitious, and, according to social media, very vocal about her father's refusal to modernize his operations. They've been arguing about his business practices for years. You want to use his daughter? Victor asked. I want to recruit her. I turned the laptop to show them Lily's thesis proposal. Legitimizing criminal organizations through legal reform and corporate restructuring. She's arguing that syndicates should transition to legitimate business operations, that the future of organized crime is in legal enterprises, not underground operations. Dante smiled slowly, and if we could offer Marcus Chen a way to legitimize his empire while maintaining power, he'd be interested, Victor finished. Especially if it came from his daughter's recommendation. It's brilliant, Dante said, pulling me into his lap. How did I ever operate without you? Poorly, I teased. Very, very poorly. I'll contact Lily Chen, Victor offered. Set up a meeting. See if she's amenable to discussing alternative approaches to her father's business. Do it carefully, I warned. She's smart. If she thinks we're manipulating her, I'll be honest, Victor said. I'll tell her we want to offer her father a partnership. One that transitions his operations toward legitimacy while maintaining his influence and profit margins. She'll see the value. After Victor left, Dante turned me to face him. You're not just a translator anymore. You're a strategist, a power player in your own right. I learned from the best. You're better than me. I would have gone to war with Marcus Chen. You found a way to turn an enemy into an ally. He kissed me deeply. I love you. Every brilliant, ruthless, impossibly perfect piece of you. Even when I'm making your organization more legitimate, less traditionally criminal, especially then. You're pulling me toward the light, Elena. Slowly, carefully, but definitely toward something better. His forehead rested against mine. 10 years from now, the Moretti Empire might actually be legal. Can you imagine? I can. That's why I'm here. I kissed him again. Now come on. We have a coalition to dismantle and a daughter to recruit. Busy day in the life of organized crime. Organized crime transitioning to legitimate business, he corrected. Baby steps, I said. But as we worked through strategy, I felt hope blooming. Maybe this world didn't have to stay violent forever. Maybe evolution was possible. Maybe love really could change everything. Lily Chen met us at a coffee shop near Harvard. Neutral ground, public, safe. She was stunning, elegant, sharp-eyed, carrying herself with the confidence of someone who'd grown up in power but chose to challenge it. Mrs. Moretti, she said, shaking my hand firmly. Professor Zhang spoke highly of your work in Beijing. He was disappointed when you left academia. I blinked. You know Professor Zhang? He's on my thesis committee. When Mr. Volkov mentioned you, I did research. Linguistic anthropology, focus on power dynamics in multilingual negotiations. Impressive work. She sat, ordering tea with the precision of someone who didn't waste time. So, you want to legitimize my father's criminal empire. Why should I help you? Direct. I liked her already. Because you've been trying to convince him to transition for years and he won't listen, I said. But if the suggestion comes with a powerful partnership attached, one that maintains his influence while reducing legal risk, he might reconsider. My father doesn't trust easily. Neither do we. That's why we're starting with you. Dante leaned forward. Your thesis argues that criminal organizations can transition to legitimate operations through careful corporate restructuring. We want to test that theory. Use Moretti Enterprises and the Bratva partnership as a case study. Lily's eyes sharpened. You're serious? Completely. We're already moving shipping operations toward legal compliance. Import-export with proper licensing, legitimate corporate structures, transparent accounting. I pulled out documents. These are our current holdings. 3 shipping companies, 2 logistics firms, 1 private security contractor, multiple real estate investments. All legally structured, all properly documented. She reviewed the papers with a lawyer's eye. But you still have illegal operations. Some, Dante admitted. Transitioning takes time, but our goal is full legitimacy within 5 years. That's where your father comes in. If he partners with us, brings his operations under our corporate umbrella, transitions his personnel to legal employment, restructures his supply chains, we can accelerate the timeline. Why would he agree? Because the alternative is war, Victor said bluntly. He's building a coalition to destroy us. That costs money, lives, and attention from law enforcement he doesn't need. Or, he gestured to the documents, he could join us, maintain power, increase profits, and reduce risk. Which would you choose? Lily was quiet for a long moment. My father is old school. He believes in traditional methods. Intimidation, violence, maintaining power through fear. So did I, Dante said, until I met Elena. She showed me that power doesn't require violence. It requires strategy, intelligence, and the courage to evolve. You're asking me to betray my father's trust. We're asking you to save his life, I corrected gently. Because if he continues down this path, building coalitions, attacking us through federal agents, escalating toward war, he'll end up dead or imprisoned. You know that. That's why you've been fighting him on this. Her eyes glistened. I love my father, but I hate what he does. The violence, the bodies, the way people look at him with fear instead of respect. Then help us change that. Help us show him there's another way. I reached across the table. You wrote in your thesis that the future of organized crime is in evolution, not extinction. Prove it. Be the bridge between your father's world and ours. She took my hand, squeezing once. If I do this, if I convince him to meet with you, you have to promise me something. Name it. No violence. No threats. Just honest negotiation. If he says no, you let him walk away. No retaliation. Dante and Victor exchanged glances. Then Dante nodded. Agreed. 1 meeting, honest negotiation, no violence regardless of outcome. Then I'll set it up. Lily stood. But Mrs. Moretti, if you're lying, if you hurt my father, I'll dedicate my life to destroying you. Harvard Law trains very effective prosecutors. I smiled. I'd expect nothing less. And please, call me Elena. After she left, Victor raised his glass in salute. Your wife is remarkable, Dante. She just turned a potential enemy into an ally using nothing but logic and compassion. That's rare in our world. She's one of a kind, Dante agreed, his hand finding mine. And she's making us better men. Whether we deserve it or not, Marcus Chen agreed to meet. 3 days later, we gathered in a private room at a restaurant I'd chosen specifically, Taiwanese-owned, family-run, with food that reminded Marcus of home. Small gesture, but meaningful. He arrived with 2 bodyguards and Lily. Mid-60s, gray-haired, eyes that missed nothing. Dante Moretti, Marcus said in Mandarin. I've heard you married a woman who speaks my language. Hui shuo zhongwen, I replied. I speak Chinese. Please sit. We ordered your favorites. I hope we got it right. He studied the table. Dumplings, noodles, tea prepared the traditional way, and something softened in his expression. You did research. I respect you, Mr. Chen. I respect your history, your accomplishments, and your intelligence. I wouldn't insult you with carelessness. I poured tea, following proper ceremony. We asked for this meeting because we want to offer you something better than war. Better than crushing you and taking your territory? Yes, Dante said. Because you won't crush us. You'll fight us, lose men, attract federal attention, and possibly end up in prison or dead. We're offering you an alternative. Partnership and legitimization. Marcus laughed. You want me to go legitimate? We want to offer you a path toward it. Slowly, carefully, maintaining your power and profits while reducing risk. Victor pulled out documents. This is our current corporate structure. Legal entities, proper licensing, transparent operations. We're transitioning all our business to full compliance within 5 years. And you want me to join this legitimate enterprise? Marcus's tone was skeptical. We want to show you it's possible, I said. That you can maintain influence without violence. That the future of power is in evolution, not tradition. My daughter has been saying this for years. Your daughter is brilliant, I agreed, and she's right. The old ways are ending, Mr. Chen. Law enforcement is better, tracking is more sophisticated, and public tolerance for violence is dropping. Families that don't adapt will die out. And you think you're adapted? We're adapting. It's not complete yet, but we're trying. Dante leaned forward. I spent 20 years building power through fear and violence. It worked, but it also left me isolated, paranoid, and constantly at war. Then I met Elena, and she showed me another way. Not weaker, just smarter. Marcus studied us both. Then he looked at Lily. You believe in this? This transition they're describing? I do, Father. Lily's voice was steady. I've reviewed their corporate documents. They're legitimate, and they're offering you something you can't get through violence. Security. Legal security. The kind that lets you sleep at night without worrying about raids or assassinations. What percentage are you offering? Marcus asked. 15% of combined operations, Victor said, plus priority access to markets in Taiwan and Hong Kong. We need your connections. You need our infrastructure. Together, we're stronger than apart. And my current operations? The ones that aren't compliant? We transition them, over time. No sudden changes that attract attention. Just gradual evolution toward legitimacy. I pulled out a timeline. This is our 5-year plan. Year 1, establish corporate structures. Year 2, transition personnel to legal employment. Year 3, clean supply chains. Year 4, full regulatory compliance. Year 5, complete legitimization. You've thought this through. We've lived it. We're in year 2 right now. It's working. Dante's voice was sincere. I'm not asking you to trust me, Marcus. I'm asking you to trust the math. Legal operations are more profitable long-term. Less waste on bribes, violence, and replacing arrested personnel. It's just better business. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then, I need to think. Discuss with my family. Review your documents thoroughly. Take all the time you need, I said. But Mr. Chen, the coalition you're building, Yakuza, Irish families, smaller players, they're using you. They want your connections and resources to fight us. And when it's over, they'll turn on you. You know this. He met my eyes. You're very direct, Mrs. Moretti. I'm very honest. And I'm telling you honestly. Partnering with us is smarter than fighting us. Not because we're stronger, though we are, but because together, we can build something that lasts. Something your daughter can be proud of. That hit home. I saw it in his eyes. I'll review your documents. If I agree, I'll contact you within 1 week. If I don't, we go our separate ways. No retaliation? No retaliation, Dante confirmed. You have my word. Marcus stood, and we stood with him. He looked at me one more time. You love him, truly? With everything I am. And he's changed because of you? We've changed each other. That's what love does. He nodded slowly. Then maybe there's hope after all. For all of us. After they left, I sagged against Dante. Did we just avert a war? I think we did. He pulled me close. You were perfect. The way you spoke to him, the research, the respect. That's what made the difference. He's going to say yes, Victor said confidently. He's smart enough to recognize opportunity, and his daughter will convince him if he hesitates. Either way, Dante said, we tried. We offered peace over war. That's growth. I kissed him softly. That's evolution. And I'm so proud of you. Marcus Chen agreed to the partnership. Within 2 months, Chen Industries was integrated into our corporate structure. His operations began transitioning toward legitimacy. The coalition he'd been building dissolved. Without his resources, it wasn't viable. And slowly, impossibly, we were building something new. An empire based on strategy instead of violence. Business instead of bloodshed. Evolution instead of extinction. I stood in Dante's office, our office, reviewing contracts for a legitimate shipping deal worth $60 million. No smuggling, no illegal goods, just honest business with proper paperwork. Who are you and what have you done with my mafia husband? I teased when Dante entered. He laughed, wrapping his arms around me from behind. Your mafia husband is becoming a legitimate businessman. It's terrifying. It's beautiful. It's you. All of this is because of you, Elena. You walked into my life speaking Chinese and reading people, and you completely dismantled everything I'd built, and then helped me build something better. I turned to face him. We built it together. I just showed you the path. You had the courage to walk it. Speaking of paths, he pulled a folder from his desk. I have something for you. I opened it, then gasped. Dante, this is a faculty position at Harvard. Linguistics department. They want you to develop a program in multilingual business negotiations. Full professorship, research budget, the works. He smiled at my shock. You gave up academia for me. I'm giving you a way back, if you want it. Tears blurred my vision. How did you... I called Professor Zhang. Asked if he knew anyone at Harvard who might be interested in hiring the brilliant woman who revolutionized power dynamics theory. Turns out Lily Chen's on several university committees. She made some calls. He cupped my face. You can have both, Elena. The life we've built and the career you deserved. You don't have to choose. I love you, I whispered. God, I love you so much. I love you too. Now and always, he kissed me softly. What do you say? Professor Moretti has a nice ring to it. It really does. We made love there in the office. Afternoon sunlight streaming through windows, and I thought about impossible choices and evolutionary paths, and the strange, beautiful way love changes everything. 6 months later, I stood before a classroom of Harvard students, teaching multilingual negotiations and global business. My husband sat in the back row, unannounced, unexpected, smiling like he'd just discovered treasure. Professor Moretti, a student asked, your case study on transitioning criminal organizations to legitimate business, is that based on real examples? Very real, I confirmed. I'm privileged to have witnessed an organization's complete transformation from underground operations to fully legal corporate structure. The key is patience, strategic planning, and understanding that power doesn't require violence. It requires intelligence. After class, Dante met me at the front of the lecture hall. That was incredible, he said. You're a natural teacher. I learned from experience, and from marrying a man who was brave enough to change. I gathered my materials. What are you doing here? Don't you have legitimate business meetings to attend? I do. With Marcus Chen and Victor Volkov. We're finalizing a contract worth $200 million. All legal, all properly documented. He grinned. Want to come translate? Always. We walked across campus hand in hand, and students stared, recognizing me, recognizing him. whispering about the professor who'd married Boston's most powerful businessman. Do they know? I asked quietly. Who you were? Who I was. Past tense. He squeezed my hand. Now I'm just a businessman married to a brilliant professor. That's who I'm choosing to be. And the empire? Still there. Still powerful. Just cleaner, better, more sustainable. He stopped walking, turning to face me fully. You saved me, Elena. Not just from violence, but from becoming my father. From losing myself completely to ice and calculation. You gave me back my humanity. You saved me too. From drowning in debt and fear. From believing I'd never amount to anything. You gave me purpose, protection, and partnership. I kissed him softly. We saved each other. That's what makes us unstoppable. Then let's go build our empire. The legal, boring, perfectly legitimate empire. With occasional excitement, I added. Always with occasional excitement. We walked to the meeting together. Partners, equals, and impossibly against all odds. Happy. Because sometimes speaking, Chinese at exactly the right moment changes everything. Sometimes falling in love with a dangerous man makes him less dangerous. And sometimes, just sometimes, choosing love over safety, evolution over tradition, and partnership over power is the most revolutionary act of all.